That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is episode 38, The Ministry, and we are covering the end of November to the beginning of December of 1998. I'm Mike Prue, along with JV. JV, how you doing this week?
Doing well, man. We got some more rain, which is annoying.
Yeah, needed it.
Yeah.
Although, I feel like I'm cutting my grass like every other day.
Yeah, the grass is loving it. It's
Yeah.
nice and green and shit, but this rain, it's like Seattle now.
Yeah, we need it, like you said. Here we are talking about the fucking weather.
I know. I didn't know what to start with. That's what I went with. I went with the weather.
Fucking weather is always one.
Yeah.
I got something to start off with.
Nothing says you don't give a shit about someone more than just like talking about the weather with them. So sorry, listeners.
Hey, what's going on? It's fucking raining here in Massachusetts. Where are you in fucking Alabama?
Yeah, it wasn't
in Iowa. It's like, we don't give a fuck about your weather in Massachusetts.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? We got mudslides.
Yeah, we got real shit
rain.
going on.
Yeah.
There's fucking hurricanes going on throughout the South, though. Not hurricanes, but
like tornadoes or whatever they get. Yeah.
Real shit going on. But anyway, I did have something to bring up. Last week I brought up how Frank Alves had corrected us on one of the Stone Cold issues. And it was funny because you said something to the effect of, "Oh, he probably has a whole notebook on me." So after Frank listened to last week's episode, Corporation, episode 37, you had said a comment about like you said something like Jim Hellwig. And you were like, "Who the hell is Jim Hellwig?" You know, it was.
Yeah, the Warrior, right?
And he's the Ultimate Warrior, Jim Hellwig, the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah. But you used Jim Hellwig for somebody else to describe
Paul Ellering.
Yeah, Paul Ellering.
I remember
right.
now.
Yeah. So you're like, "Oh, Paul Ellering," and you meant Paul Ellering, but you said Jim Hellwig, and you're like, "Who the hell is Jim Hellwig?" So Frank Alves sent me a message. He goes, "Oh, fresh out of my notebook, Jim Hellwig is the Ultimate Warrior."
That's hilarious.
I was like, I'll have to tell JV that in next week's episode.
Well, I hope it's a composite notebook.
Yeah.
Hope it's not a cheap 99-cent notebook.
I hope he actually really does have a notebook now.
Yeah, right.
All right, so guys, this week we are, like I said at the top, we're covering November into December. We've got a couple Raws, a couple Heats, and we're building to Rock Bottom. Also, in between here, it's Capital Carnage, the first UK pay-per-view, which we're not going to get into full discussion, but I'll talk a little bit more about it a little later. So that's what we got on tap for you, and it's we're still building up to, it's the Undertaker feud still going on, so it's more of this campiness, which started last week, and now that JV has turned me on to this campiness, I started to enjoy some of the shit that went down on these couple episodes we're going to get into. So now that you set me up for it, it's like, okay, I can deal with it. Because if I still had the mindset of last week, like, this shit sucks. But now I appreciate it.
You'd be a total buzzkill.
Right. Now I appreciate it for what it is.
You're welcome.
Before we really get into it, I also want to bring up that the ECW Extreme Livecast is available out there on the BTT Patreon, patreon.com, Booking the Territory. And we had just recently did episode 3, which is May 4th and May 11th of 1993. So that's available out there. And next week we'll be covering the next 2 weeks. So sign up for that. Check us out there. And we talk some old school 1993 shitty ass ECW. But it's starting to get good. So join in early on that ride through ECW history. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Ready to get into it, JV?
I'm ready, man. Just think, though, real quick. It's almost 1999.
That's crazy. It's crazy that we started in December of 95 and we're into December of 98 now. So
pretty incredible
3
stuff.
years along and 38 episodes in, trucking along here. So yeah, it's crazy. 1999. As I said, I think I said last week that we're pretty much like halfway point with Austin's career. So pretty crazy. But here we are. It's Heat, Sunday Night Heat, episode 18 from November 29th, 1998. This is live. This is a live episode of Heat. This is, I think, the second live episode of Heat. One was live before pay-per-view. But this is just a random live Sunday Night Heat in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Which is wild.
Yeah. So it just shows you how big WWF was and wrestling was at the time, that they could have a Sunday Night Heat live in Philadelphia on a Sunday night. I'm sure they were recording other stuff too, like Shotgun Saturday Night or whatever else they had going on at the time. But they packed a full house. They packed 19,000 people on a Sunday night into an arena to watch WWF wrestling.
That is nuts.
Crazy.
19,000 people?
Yep.
Sellout? Wow. For like it was like what, the B show at the time, right?
Right, of course. Yeah. Well, if you couldn't get a Raw around, like, oh, screw it, we'll go to Heat. Doesn't matter. That's why they would have Austin on these shows doing, just little things. And that was enough to get people all excited and jacked up. And the great thing about this time, and the reason why we go into the side note so often, is because there's so many different storylines going on. Like, everybody's involved in something. So if you don't like one story, well, there's another story going on. It's jam-packed with storylines. And that's a credit to Vince Russo and the rest of the writers at that time.
And they're prominent for a lot of superstars at this time too. Like they end up setting up, you have people like the Brood who have careers getting set up long term with the company.
Right. Yeah. Future stars are going to build out of these small
Mark
side
Henry,
stories. Right. Exactly. So crazy time in the WWF and awesome time in professional wrestling for sure is back here in November and December of 98. So this episode of Heat, it's not going to start with. We're just going to focus on Austin really here. But at 32 minutes, 19 seconds, there is an Austin promo. More like an interview, actually. And it's going to lead into the Undertaker having some comments. So let's take a listen to what Austin has to say to JR and then what the Undertaker had to say also.
Hey, Steve. What? Steve, excuse me. I just wanted to ask you a question. What's your thoughts on Mr. McMahon's mandate that you need 24 hours to cool off before you show back up on WWF TV?
I think it's a complete bunch of bull. 24 hours ain't going to do nothing to cool me off. No, that ain't going to happen. It's just going to piss me off even more. You don't hit me in the head with a shovel, lay me on a damn table, and try to embalm me, and don't think you're going to get your payback in. On Raw, when I show my ass up, 24 hours, whatever, I'm going to beat somebody's ass, and that's all I got to say to you. So take your little camera and get out. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of Vince McMahon. I'm sick of The Undertaker. It's bull.
Austin, you have tempted fate far too many times. And you still don't get it. You're looking for some type of retribution? Well, you need to understand this, boy. This goes far beyond retribution. You will be sacrificed because you impede the progress of my ministry. So you come looking for me tomorrow, and I'll be waiting. For once you look into the eyes of the Lord of Darkness, you will then truly understand that Monday was the beginning of the end, and tomorrow night your soul will be sacrificed for the ministry of darkness.
And Cain, my son, you are a total idiot, and you've shown it to the whole wide world. And I, as your legal guardian, have the authority to sign these papers. And tomorrow,
If you step 1 foot inside that arena, I'll have the orderlies there with the straitjacket, and they'll lock you up forever and ever and ever!
All right, so the previous night on November 28th, and just after Thanksgiving of 1998, the WWF went to Boston, Massachusetts. They went to the Fleet Center, and that's where that interview with Stone Cold took place. And basically what happens there is that JR tells Austin that Vince McMahon has ordered that you have a 24-hour cool-down period, so you are not to appear on Heat other than this interview segment that's being taped the day before. So you need 24 hours off before we see you again. That'll be on Raw. So Austin responds, 24 hours is not going to cool me off. It's just going to piss me off. And hit me in the head with a goddamn shovel. You try to embalm me. Think you won't get your payback in. I'm Raw. I'm going to kick someone's ass. I'm sick of Vince McMahon. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of The Undertaker. I'm sick of this bullshit. So Austin's pretty heated there. It's a pretty cool way to just build up to Raw. Like, all right, we're not going to get Austin fully here, but we know we're going to get a pissed off Austin on Raw tomorrow night.
Yeah, they tried to kill him, so he's a little angry.
Yeah.
Painfully.
Right.
Not just like, drop him up a cliff or something. Like,
right.
You're going to bomb him alive and shit.
Right, and like Undertaker speaking tongues like Charles Lee Ray, like he's going to possess his body.
This is some like scary, legit hate.
Right.
And shade that Stone Cold is getting thrown at by The Undertaker.
So from there, it just leads into The Undertaker's comments. And Undertaker says, you don't get it. You're looking for someone. You're looking for some kind of retribution. This goes far beyond retribution. You're going to be sacrificed because you are impeding the progress of my ministry. So now we get that ministry. Undertaker's been talking about the ministry maybe for a couple of weeks or even just a past week saying it in passing. We don't really know what a ministry is yet, but it's starting to build here at this point. So then Undertaker warns him, if you come looking for me tomorrow, I'll be waiting. And once you come to me, you'll be looking into the eyes of the Lord of Darkness, which was also a nice little thing there because we haven't heard that. We haven't heard The Undertaker referred to as the Lord of Darkness yet, which is like a common name when people refer to The Undertaker today. It starts here when he's the Lord of Darkness of the ministry. And he says, your soul will be sacrificed for the ministry of darkness. So I like the storyline. And some people shit on it. And when you look back in totality of The Undertaker's career, this might be a shitty spot, but I think The Undertaker desperately needed something at this time to make him more interesting.
See, I thought this was like primo Undertaker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like this is good. This is actually good.
This is as like all the fiction behind it, like full blown.
Right. This is the real story. Like he's had his mouth shut for so long as the dead man. But now he's stepping up and he's like, all right, this is who I am. This is my story. This is what I'm all about. And that's what he needed. Because other than that, he's just fucking, I walked onto the ring and blah. Like,
yeah.
I fight the big fat guys.
Story. Yeah.
I fight Kamala. I fight Johnny Gonzalez.
Johnny Gonzalez. Elegante.
I mean, of course, he had his run in 96, 97, where he's fighting Bret Hart and everybody. But
yeah, obviously,
but he was still nothing. He had no real character other than just his look. And now they're actually giving him some character. So I think it's a good thing that he goes through this stage. He goes through a lot of stages.
Really enjoying this then. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's fire, there's sacrifices and shit. It's just like, all right, I can get into that.
And it speaks of the times too. Like, all right, everyone's going through some crazy stuff, so let's have the Undertaker do some crazy shit too, and make it dark. Let's make it like a horror movie type thing. So pretty damn cool there. Paul Bearer is going to threaten Kane too. That if Kane shows up, he's going to have to deal with the orderlies. He's going to have the orderlies from the insane asylum.
These guys are funny.
The orderlies, like they're going after like Michael Myers. It's like, that's what Kane is. Exactly. Kane's like Michael Myers. The orderlies have to come grab him and lock him up, put him in his little room where he can't wear masks anymore.
That's it. That's Michael Myers.
All right, so that was a warning there on Heat. And then also, we want to, I guess this is like a secondary storyline that I think we should cover. I mean, we have our other storylines like the Godfather, Val Venus, and shit like that as side notes, but another major storyline going on at this point that is still tied to Austin, but maybe not directly tied to him at this point, but we want to keep following along with what's going on with this storyline because it'll get back to Austin. And that's the Corporation. So I think it's good for us to just, keep following that major storyline too, even when it doesn't totally involve Austin. So we got the Corporation, and they're starting to have some issues with DX. And on this episode of Heat, Vince McMahon is going to invite the New Age Outlaws into his luxury box. And he's going to say, all right, we're going to have a meeting, and these are the things you need to know about the Corporation. And Billy and Road Dogg are sitting there. They have a napkin, and they're taking notes, and Vince McMahon's like impressed, like, wow, you're taking notes. And then he looks at it, and they're playing tic-tac-toe. He's like, I'm not talking about tic-tac-toe, I'm talking about tic-tac-toe. If you know what I mean. I just thought that was pretty comical. So they're doing a lot of silly shit at this time, but fucking entertainment. Doesn't always have to be grade A wrestling. That's the problem with like a lot of hardos today, is that everybody wants like everything to be like New Japan or ROH, and just we gotta show ring work all the time, ring work. That's fucking.
Yeah, I know.
That gets to the point where it's all right. Fuck, it's fucking boring after a while too. Because how many you can see great matches, but how else can they get me interested?
Yeah,
how else are they entertaining?
I weigh it like, I don't know. I really like the entertainment side of wrestling. But I mean, you have people that can do that in the ring, obviously. But
right,
I like a build to a feud that kind of draws out.
Right, with the story.
Properly, with the story. I don't know. The drama.
Yeah.
Because then the match can be, you don't need to have the two best workers, and then it can put in like, they could still have a hell of a match just because of the emotion that was built.
Right, exactly.
Up to that,
Right, and then on anywhere in the card, you could have a great match. It's like, oh shit,
right.
I got my taste of wrestling right there on that match.
But what's the meaning for it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's something that's up to debate all the time if you go onto the Twitter world.
Yeah, I don't argue with that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Hey, that's the wrestling I like. I mean,
yeah.
And if that's the wrestling they like, that's cool.
Yep.
I'm not going to shove my kind down.
I mean, I like it all in the end, ultimately. But, there's just the shit on something for shitting on it. No. It's not this or that. It can be both. You can like both.
Yeah,
I don't know.
agree. There's places for both.
Right. I mean, if you watch WWE, even today, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of shit, but then there's also good shit. Like, people are going to complain. Like, last night on Raw, for instance, this is, we record on Tuesday, so last night was Raw. The main event was AJ Styles versus Ricochet. It was a fucking hell of a match. But people still complain about it. Like, how are you still complaining about what the product is if they're putting out matches like that, but you don't like the other shit?
No, I hear you.
It's like when you go back.
I'm guilty of doing that too sometimes as a wrestler. I think that's just wrestling fans. I think
yeah,
we're just like
right. We want the overall product to be all A plus. Like, everything has to be great. Instead of just picking and choosing, instead of cherry picking, like, I like that, so that's okay. I'm still cool with it because I like that tonight.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's we're adults now too. So like it's like wrestling fans are constantly trying to chase what they liked when they were like in
that's
their
true.
teens,
Yep,
preteens. So they're chasing that same fucking feeling.
Yeah,
it's just like dudes with sports that can't give up on the fucking dream. They're just like chasing that high of like fucking hitting a home run or something in like their men's baseball league,
or it's like
40 baseball league. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's wrestling fans, but we're a little bit more miserable, I guess.
Or it's like a Miami Dolphins fan.
Yeah,
things are gonna want that Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. Poor Torrin, he's gonna be. Yeah, our buddy Jeff, he's gonna be chasing that for a long time.
They just can't get
a mess.
Their damn quarterback situation ever straight.
A Canadian team won the NBA title.
Wow!
Before the Dolphins could even get back to a Super Bowl.
Oh man! All right, let's get back to this. So the Corporation, Vince McMahon is trying to recruit New Age Outlaws. Is basically what's happening. And then in one of the main events the major match of Heat is Team Corporate, which is Boss Man and Shamrock. They go up against Mankind and Al Snow. And The Rock is a special commentator. He's pretty damn funny on commentary, of course. So if you ever watch that episode of Heat, that's probably the thing to go back and listen to is The Rock on commentary. Basically, The Rock and Mankind go at it, just setting up for their match that's a couple weeks away at the Rock Bottom pay-per-view. Job Squad and the Brood are going to come out, and everyone battles as the show ends. So that will now bring us to the next night on Raw. So you have 2 live events back-to-back. You have Heat in Philly, and then the next night, November 30th, 1998, in Baltimore, Maryland, you have Raw 288. And we're going to start with an Austin promo. But at first, when JV, when you started watching this, I know you were probably like, what the fuck is going on? Because the show's going to start off, you would expect like Austin or Vince McMahon to come out, open up the show like usual. But you got the fucking Headbangers and ICP running out there to open up the show.
Fucking crazy.
But thank goodness, Stone Cold, they cut the Stone Cold in the back, and he's like, fuck this shit, I'm not having this. He comes walking out. He's got a shovel in his hand because he got hit over the head with the shovel. And he comes right out. And it's almost like the writers are playing with us like, oh, the crowd knows that we ain't starting the show with the Headbangers and ICP.
they wanted to get Austin over hot to start the show.
Yep.
This is the best way to do it because I loved it.
So Austin comes out, and he's going to stun the shit out of him. He's going to stun ICP. He's going to stun the Headbangers. And they're even like, when he goes to the ring, they're like clapping for him.
They're fans.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, Austin, baby. And then he just walks in.
Thought they was going to drink with them or whatever. Like,
kicks them in the gut and then stuns their ass. But it's pretty funny. It's only about a minute-long clip that I want to play for you. So take a listen to that, and we'll just talk about the rest in a moment.
Cole and The Undertaker, we know, officially on a collision course and buried alive in less than 2 weeks, exclusively on pay-per-view. Feel the magic of this man.
Now that I got everybody's attention, a little calendar on my watch says that Buried Alive is 13 days away, but Stone Cold ain't gonna wait that long. Before the night's over, Undertaker's gonna be wearing this damn shovel upside his head. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Well, I'll tell you what, he got right to the point. He cut right to the chase of the rattlesnake. He didn't want to wait till Buried Alive on pay-per-view. He wants to do it right here, tonight, live from Baltimore.
All right, so that's just a pretty quick one there. Austin, after he stuns the Headbangers and ICP, he says, my little calendar, my watch says Buried Alive. Just
his little calendar on his watch.
Like like he has an Apple phone or whatever. It must be really little because I'm sure it only says like
the number,
like the
like not the month,
right?
Like just like the day, not the month in the year,
right? It just rotates.
But yeah, I don't know. I've never had Stone Cold money, so who knows what the fuck he was buying in 1998.
So he says he's not going to wait. Stone Cold ain't waiting that long. Before the night's over, The Undertaker will be wearing this shovel upside his head. So that's his little warning to start off the show. And then throughout the episode, they're going to be it's going to be one of those full episode storylines. Just goes right through the whole story. Through the whole episode rather. And you have Austin, he's backstage, he's searching for The Undertaker. He runs into Mike Chioda at one point. Where's The Undertaker? He doesn't know. And then at 8 minutes and 38 seconds in the episode, you get a look at young Stephanie McMahon, who he bumps into. He's just playing a girl walking in the hallway. Nobody knows who she is at this point. And he asks her, and she doesn't know. And she looked pretty good at that point. She's about to come on to the scene too. Not too long from now at this point.
So this may have been like first appearance Steph in the Attitude Era? or something.
Yeah, maybe for the Attitude Era. I know she's made appearances in
Priors.
right.
Same here.
Just random stuff, but yeah, for the Attitude Era, there she is. All right, and then just less than 10 minutes later, Austin is checking the freezers for the Undertaker. He's just looking around the building, and he's in the freezer section where they keep all the meat for the concession stands. And the Undertaker is going to sneak up from behind him and push Austin right into the freezer, and then shut the door. I guess lock the door, as it's believed. We worked in a
yeah, we did.
Meat market.
Freezer.
Yeah, meat market
Yeah.
with a freezer. And the freezer's locked once you close them, right? No, not completely. You have to put the chain on it.
Yeah,
So-
you'd have to secure it, but they
it's like a little pin lock.
Secure it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
I don't think where we worked had them, probably for safety and insurance reasons.
Yeah.
But maybe in the middle of whatever stadium they're in, Baltimore, Maryland, they didn't have those same
Right.
safety.
So we're supposed to believe that Austin is locked in there, and he can't just push the little round button to open the door.
Yeah, it's just like a long button because you'd hit it. You'd always try to hit it hard,
Right.
Just like if you're pissed off, like fuck, go
Fuck,
back in the
I gotta do
freezer,
more
get
shit.
The fucking beef tripe out the back, whack shit in the back of the freezer. That's where all the weird stuff was.
You gotta get the fucking chicken gizzards.
We give them these from fucking
From a year ago. Go ahead. So at this point, Austin's locked in the freezer. Undertaker's going to come out. He's going to cut a little promo. Not going to play it for you. I'll just run through what he says. As my ministry grows even stronger, there are two things in my way. Stone Cold Steve Austin, who I got to keep him on ice. He says after the last segment just 4 minutes ago, oh, he's in the freezer, so funny one by The Undertaker. I got to keep him on ice until I bury him alive. But tonight, Kane, one of us will face the future, and one will face eternal darkness. I feel like a lot of The Undertaker's promos, they're supposed to be like, how would I even phrase it? They're supposed to be very meaningful and deep. And just
and they sound ridiculous.
Right, they end up sounding ridiculous. And even like me just trying to explain what his promos are supposed to be like, he like mumbles over it. It's too profound for him to even get out.
Yeah. It's like he stole a script for like a Mortal Kombat movie that never happened.
Yeah, he's like
He's gonna steal your soul and shit.
right, he's like what's it? Shang Tsung. Yeah,
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung.
I don't know how to say it.
Shang Tsung. So he's gonna take his soul. Yeah, so that's kind of like what it is, but he didn't have enough time to read the script.
Yeah.
So at that point, when he calls out Kane, Kane's music hits. Kane makes his way out. They battle it out, and they're gonna start the battle throughout the back. The orderlies come out. Well, throughout the rest of the night, they'll battle. But at this point, the orderlies going to be called out, and Kane just hops into the crowd. He runs off, and they'll keep battling later on in the night. But they cut to the freezer again. So at 33 minutes, they're going to cut to that freezer door, and it's open. So Austin got out. And like I said before, I like the campiness of it. It's like shitty horror movie.
Well, it keeps you entertained throughout the show.
Right, it's little things.
Like you're entertained for a good 2 hours really, because it's the. This is just a product of having direct competition airing alongside you too.
Right, you want to keep people on your channel.
Yeah, their storytelling is so much stronger.
So we get a little time off from this, and so at 51 minutes, so about 20 minutes later, Undertaker and Kane are fighting in the back. Undertaker attempts to put Kane in a body bag. It's very dark in the room that they're in. Kind of looks like they're in, it looks like either a locker room or a room where they would have like a break room. And it's dark in there. Austin comes up from behind, and the crowd pops because they finally start to see Austin come from behind. And he hits Undertaker with that shovel, and the spade of the shovel goes flying off. So it's like, all right, cool, man. You freaking really whacked him with it. So you have that. And now you have Paul Bearer about 15 minutes later at the 1 hour, 5 minute mark Paul Bearer's getting the orderlies. He's all excited. He's like, all right, let's go get him. Let's get him. And they go to the body bag, and they open it up. They look in. It's Kane. It's Kane's face. It's his mask. And we know, of course, it's Undertaker in there. Austin just knocked him out, and they did a little switcheroo, which they've done a few times in the past, where sometimes Undertaker's wearing Kane's mask. Sometimes Kane's wearing Undertaker's mask. Oh, I'll dress like Undertaker. Not wearing his mask.
That crossed my mind too. That's funny you bring that up.
Yeah, so they kind of like a bring back to that, which was not that long ago, just about 4 months ago.
Yeah, yep.
So Undertaker is now in this bag, and it's pretty funny. And 10 minutes later, you get Austin and Kane are hanging together in the back room, watching on a monitor. Paul Bearer's got the he's got the gurney, and he's got the orderlies putting the body bag into the ambulance, and he's all excited. Oh yes, he's gone. So it's at 1 hour and 26 minutes. He comes running to the back to look for Undertaker to share the great news that Kane is gone. And then up from behind, Kane and Undertaker grab Paul Bearer. They're going to drag him to the ring. And we'll have you guys listen to what goes on from there to close this episode of Raw. Pretty damn funny. Take a listen.
Oh, you're in a world of trouble! And nobody deserves it more except maybe The Undertaker.
First off, you dumb bastard, let me ask you one question. How do you feel knowing that you're the one that sent The Undertaker to the damn crazy house? That was you. How do you feel knowing that damn Undertaker can't come down and save your fat ass tonight? Now let's go over the events of last weekend, because I've watched that tape over and over and over again, and it pisses me off each time I watch it. You took me out there, and you were gonna bury me alive. You damn right it was you. Oh, burying me alive wasn't good enough. Look at me when I talk to you. You were gonna embalm me alive. You're a sick bastard, and that's the bottom line. I'm starting to get a little thirsty. Somebody give me a damn beer right now. If you want to see Kane beat the living hell out of Paul Bearer, give me a hell yeah. Kane, get him. No, hold it. That just ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. You know that thing you do with the gas can all the time?
What?
How about going back there and getting that gas can, and we'll have a little fun right here? No. Hold it. I think I got a better idea. These look familiar to you, son? What? No, passing out ain't gonna help you one bit, you fat piece of trash. You see how sharp these damn scissors are? Don't you move, son. Don't you move one bit. Let Dr. Austin go to work here.
What's he gonna do? I don't know. The Undertaker's been taken to a mental ward. Austin switched the Undertaker and Kane in the body bag. The Undertaker's on his way to the nut house.
Please don't, Mr. Austin. Please. It was Undertaker. And it done, damn it. It was Undertaker.
Shut up.
God. Son, help me, son. Help me now in the name
What's he
of
gonna
Jesus. Jesus, take me home. He's gonna kill me.
Undertaker was speaking in tongues last week. I'm gonna speak in tongues for you too. I'm about to gut your fat ass.
Now, wait a minute.
Don't kill me.
No, that'd be too easy, you big dumb bastard. Kane, get his ass up, because I got an even better idea. We're going for a little walk.
I have a better
Get
idea.
out.
I don't have a
Sit
clue.
you laying there like a fat.
Austin.
Get out of here.
Can you
Let's
run,
go.
Paul? It's a good
Let's
thing
go
Paul
for a
Bear's
little walk. We ain't through with you yet.
trying to run.
Take his ass up here.
Good thing he's wearing dark pants, I'll tell you that. Well, I have no idea where Austin and Kane, can you believe that? In the same sentence, Austin and Kane on the same page. Paul Bearer is Kane's father. The Undertaker has been taken to a mental institution. Thanks to Paul Bearer, because he thought it was Kane. On a night where Mankind's been screwed out of the hardcore title. Where is he? And remember, it's Austin and The Undertaker one-on-one 13 days from tonight. Exclusively on pay-per-view. What is Stone Cold Steve Austin fixing to do to Paul Bearer now? Any darn thing he wants. You don't think Paul Bearer doesn't have it coming? No, this is torture. Mental and physical torture. He's taking him outside. Austin and Kane taking Paul Bearer outside here in the Baltimore Arena. What in the Lord's name is Austin going to do to Paul Bearer? Paul Bearer thrown down in the street. What? That's a manhole cover, I guess, to the sewer. No. You don't think you... You want to go in that damn hole? Don't go in there, Paul! Put his ass in the hole, Take a good look, Paul Bearer. Take a real good look if that's where you're going. That means you don't want me to go in that hole. Get his ass in there. No! Paul Bearer been stuffed into the sewer. Let him go. He went head first into the sewer here in Baltimore. And Kane seals the deal. Shut. Stone Cold Steve Austin has just got rid of Paul Bearer. Stuffed him in the sewer. Head first. Undertaker, where are you? Can you believe the collision that Austin and The Undertaker will have in 13 days on pay-per-view? A buried alive man. But what about the status of Paul Bearer?
All right, so Austin and Kane are dragging Paul Bearer's ass to the ring. They roll his ass into the ring. He gets down on his knees in the middle of the ring. Austin grabs the mic. How do you feel knowing that you sent The Undertaker to the crazy house? How do you feel knowing that he can't save your fat ass tonight? He said, you were going to bury me alive. You were trying to embalm me. You're a sick bastard, and that's the bottom line. And then Austin's like fed up. He's like, I want a beer. He gets a beer, and Paul Bearer is like pleading with Kane, and Austin, does his traditional, give me a hell yeah. He's like, if you want to see Kane kick Paul Bearer's ass, give me a hell yeah. And you get the hell yeahs, and Austin tells Kane to hold it. And he says, Kane, do you have that gas can? Kane goes for it. He goes to leave the ring, and he's like, never mind, hold on. Never mind, I got this. So Austin pulls out scissors, which Paul Bearer brought out scissors last week to try to stab Austin in the heart when the embalming process was starting to go awry. So he has it, and he goes, let Dr. Austin get to work. And he starts cutting Paul Bearer's shirt. He says, The Undertaker was speaking in tongues last week. Well, I'm going to too. I'm going to cut your fat ass. So I don't know, what he really meant. I'm speaking in tongues too. I'm going to cut your fat ass. I don't know. It's pretty just I guess it's just making fun of the absurdity of Undertaker speaking in tongues. Yeah, he's speaking in tongues, my ass.
This son of a bitch is crazy, basically.
Yeah.
Tried to kill me. I'm just trying to wrestle for a belt and shit, This guy's out to kill.
So Paul Bearer's yelling, don't kill me. Don't kill me. And then Austin says, that'd be too easy, you big dumb bastard. Because I got an idea. So Kane and Austin grab Paul Bearer. And they had it at the end of the episode there where they open up a manhole and they dump his ass right in it outside in Baltimore. They just open it up. Kane pries it open with a crowbar, I guess. And Paul Bearer goes sliding right into it. I thought that was pretty damn cool, pretty damn funny. They just drop him in there. Undertaker's off to the asylum. Paul Bearer's in the sewer. So what'd you think?
Yeah, at first I didn't think Paul Bearer was going to fit.
I didn't either.
Then he goes in face first.
Right, just slides right in like it's nothing.
Fucking nasty.
I did listen to Bruce Pritchard's show.
Yep.
He talked about this. and he said that they didn't think that Paul Bearer would fit either, and Paul Bearer was like all shaky about it. And I guess Vince McMahon was like, "Yeah, let's lather him up, let's grease his fat ass up and shove him down there."
Vince. These stories you hear make that guy sound like such a creep.
And I guess Bruce Pritchard said that he tested it out. I went down first and I checked it out.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
So I guess like what he had to do, because there's the steps that stick out on the side, like the metal steps that would stick out of the sewer.
Yeah,
I'm talking about. So
yes,
Paul Bearer had to
that's
like
what I'm
climb down on those, basically.
face first.
Yeah.
That's fucking awful.
Yeah.
He's a big guy too.
Right.
That's not easy for him. It's not like he's this fucking athlete.
Right. I think that they were holding his legs too for a little bit, so he probably got a few steps down before they could let his legs go. But yeah, somebody out of shape having to do that, but he fucking did it. Good for him. So there you have it. Paul Bearer down the fucking sewer, Undertaker in the asylum. And then at the end there, you get the extra attitude. Basically, you just get a stunner party. This has become like the norm at this point now, is to have Austin celebrating in the ring. The Rock's going to come out, and the Rock's going to get stunned a bunch of times. Austin's going to drink beer, and everyone's going to love the hell out of it as the show ends. So you send everybody off home happy. Even Shane McMahon comes out at the end of this extra attitude, and Austin gives him a hug, holds his hand up, gives him a beer, and then kicks him in the gut, of course, and stuns him. But you get some pretty comical stunners, too. Like the way that The Rock takes it. It's like those crazy ones where he bumps up and his legs hit the top rope and shit. So you get those here. So that closes out the show. But we want to go along and see what's going on with the corporation, the DX storyline. So let's take a look at what happened there. On the last heat, you had the New Age Outlaws being favored to be in the corporation. So you have New Age Outlaws versus Gangrel and Edge, and the corporation's going to come out. They're going to watch the match, and Christian's going to cause a DQ with a belt shot to Billy Gunn. So he's going to whack Billy Gunn with the belt because New Age Outlaws are the tag team champions, which apparently I made a mistake last week when I was covering side notes. I thought the Job Squad had won the tag team titles. They did win. Scorpio pinned Billy Gunn, but it was a non-title match. So I missed that. So they didn't win the titles, unfortunately. So New Age Outlaws still champs here. And during this match, Team Corporate comes out. So that's Bossman and Shamrock. They come down. They beat up the Brood. And the Outlaws are going to walk back with the Stooges. So we're starting to think, oh, well, maybe they are with the corporation.
Yeah, did the corporation buy New Age Outlaws?
Right. It's like the old $1 Million Man thing. It's like the $1 Million Corporation, right? Wasn't that the name of it? $1 Million Corporation? Or $1 Million Team? No, $1 Million Team. I think it was.
I think it was $1 Million Team. Yeah.
All right, so next in the storyline here is you have X-Pac calling out HBK. So X-Pac kind of pissed that HBK became part of the corporation. And
this was a cool little back and forth.
Yeah, so HBK says, "Hey kid, I had bigger chunks come out of my stool than you." And then his response is great. Well, how wide must your butthole be then?
it makes it even better that he didn't swear,
right?
Considering how everyone,
right? Because said ass,
a stronger word. Yeah, asshole.
Well,
he's like
butthole. Yeah, butthole makes it funny.
Yeah, it does.
How wide must your butthole be?
That's funny.
So because of that comment, HBK is going to put him in a title match against Ken Shamrock, the Intercontinental Champion, but not an Intercontinental Championship match. It's going to be X-Pac's European Championship match. And then to end the promo, which was pretty cool, says, I was DX before DX was cool. Now hit my music. And then the DX music plays for HBK. Which is cool, not only because he's like, yeah, it's my music, but to what's to come, you know, for those that know, you know, DX is going to form again with HBK. So he's still saying basically, I'm DX still, but without saying it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So then you have that match
because he takes it, which I think we see I think we'll cover it in the side notes later. But he has a confrontation with Triple H coming up, and he's pretty much like DX is his.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Now the one thing that I didn't really like is the build up to this with X-Pac, HBK. Like, oh, HBK hit X-Pac in the head with the chair. His friend, his former DX member. It's like, no. HBK, Shawn Michaels, was gone the night before. Like, he lost. And
that's right.
He was not part of DX when X-Pac joined. So, yeah, maybe, behind the scenes, the Click, they were buddies. But not everyone's aware of that. So if you're trying to use that they were in DX, then that's wrong. Because they were not DX members together. Even later, when he comes back in June, he's not goody-goody with them. He doesn't even really acknowledge that he's in DX at all when he comes back and does commentary in the summer of '98. So just a little mistake there. But they're trying to make that connection that, oh, they were DX. That's why they're doing it, even though it's wrong. So you have this European title match, X-Pac versus Shamrock. Pretty decent match. Of course, you can have a good match when these guys are involved. HBK is going to come out and distract the ref. Boss Man comes out, clotheslines X-Pac. He gets screwed again by the corporation. And the good thing that happens here is Triple H makes his return after being out for a while, basically since SummerSlam when he got injured in the ladder match. And he has his return here, makes the save. In additional stories with the corporation, we have a hell of a match. The hardcore title match is a ladder match between Mankind and the Boss Man. And right at the start of the match, HBK is going to send the Job Squad away. JR mentions on commentary that the corporation is trying to take everything away from Mankind. They're trying to screw Mankind. The only thing he has left, they're trying to take from him. And I think this is great for what's building up over the next month, where Mankind, as I said last week, is going to win the championship. That the corporation's just been screwing him, and it's great that he's gonna take the ultimate prize just a month from now.
Yeah, that's the ultimate win.
Yep. So JR lays that out, and that's pretty cool. So I thought this was a damn good match, the hardcore type match to be on Raw. I mean, to be on anything, but here it is on Raw. The Rock comes out at the end, and he's gonna push Mankind off the ladder as he's about to get the hardcore title hanging. And it fucking looks brutal because he falls and he almost looks like he snaps his leg. It does get stuck between the rungs of the ladder, but it looks like it snaps. And even Jerry Lawler makes a comment like, "Oh my god, I thought he broke his leg there." So the Rock hits the rock bottom. Bossman's going to climb in. This is no DQ, of course, so they can do whatever they want. So Rock hits the rock bottom on Mankind. Bossman climbs and wins the Hardcore Championship. 48 minutes and 52 seconds into the show. So now you have a new hardcore champion. I remember this time. I remember when Boss Man was the hardcore champ. So it's a funny time that you have all these champions in the corporation already.
Yeah, and this Boss Man is not like the boss. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of the Boss Man, but he was a pretty badass during the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
he was legit.
Right,
it's more legit in my opinion than he was when he was fucking.
No, because he was like
correctional officer.
Right, he was like a cartoon character.
Yeah,
oh, you better do what's right for law, order, and justice. Carry the nightstick, the ball and chain too. Yeah. You're looking for trouble, I'll be coming after you, serving hard time.
That's funny you remember that.
You better watch out, or you serving hard time. All right, so that's the Boss Man. He's the new hardcore champion. And now the Hardcore Championship, I watched something just randomly. I do the research for these shows. I'll do watch stuff for other podcasts that I listen to and shit. But every once in a while, when I have free time, I want to watch just something random, wrestling wise. I want to watch something I want on my own. So I picked a Saturday Night's Main Event from 1989, November '89, and it was The Genius versus Hulk Hogan. And decent match for what it is. Genius versus Hulk Hogan. Lenny Poffo versus Hulk Hogan. But at the end of it, Mr. Perfect comes out. And this is the beginning of a Mr. Perfect and Hulk Hogan feud that would build up to the next Saturday Night's Main Event in January or February of 1990. And Mr. Perfect takes the WWF Championship, gets a hammer, and smashes it and breaks the pieces off of the WWF Heavyweight Championship. Now, I haven't looked into it. I haven't heard anything. But my first thought was, this may be the fucking Hardcore Championship. It might have been the belt that Mr. Perfect broke on Saturday night's main event when he broke Hogan's title.
Oh, shit.
They may have just saved it
cool.
and used it later for this Hardcore Championship. So if anybody out there knows for sure, then let me know. Frank, if you know for sure, look it up. Let us know. Because that was my first thought watching that. And that was just kind of a random thing that I decided to watch. And it's like, oh, shit, I can talk about that this week. Oh, pretty cool. Hopefully I'm right with that. That'd be a good catch by me.
Yeah, it would. That's pretty... That's some tinfoil hat shit. But
and to think that,
it's good.
It was 8 years before.
Yeah.
Like, all right, they saved it and used it later. All right, so that concludes that. And then the one last thing with the corporation here is you have The Rock comes out. He comes out with some shitty-ass music. It sounds like a knockoff version of Hypnotize by Notorious B.I.G., which is weird. And you had said something about The Rock's music sounding different in one of the episodes.
Yeah.
And
one of the recent episodes, too, because I remember.
So it might have been the same music.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure.
But the strange thing is that later, after this match, they play the normal Rock music, the music that is familiar to us.
Oh, no shit.
So maybe like for entrances, if they don't have the copyright, they just play like the fake shit. And they don't bother to do the exit music because, like, fuck it. They're not going to pay attention to everything. So we're not going to edit that.
Possible.
Like, because when you go to like the timestamps, like, oh, let me check the Rock's music on his entrance, and that'd be a way to just look easy. Oh, did they edit it? Okay, all right, they're all set. We're not going to sue them. and then at the end, like, then we're not going to check the end. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. I think maybe Jim Johnston, who wrote most of this music, wasn't a lawsuit, or I don't know for sure. But I thought I heard something or read something about that at one point where, because he left the company not that long ago, that he was trying to get the rights to all his music that he wrote, which would fucking suck if they were gonna start to edit all his music that he made.
Oh, that'd be terrible. At that point, you try and get them to buy in.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. You got to keep that music.
Yeah, give the dude stocks or something, and then like royalty. I don't know. There's something you got to do. But I could see why he wants ownership of it, because that's worth a lot of fucking money.
Right, and it's all over the network.
Yep.
Ugh, that would just make the network like almost unwatchable.
Yeah, I don't think they can do that. Even if they have to up the charge, that would just I don't know. I don't think that would fly. I think a lot of people would be like, "What the fuck?" I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd know. So you wouldn't have who, like Hulk Hogan's theme?
Yeah, well, I guess they have.
I don't know who else he made.
No, he didn't make Hogan's
that
theme because that was Rick Derringer. It was like his own music, and I guess they got the rights.
Oh, that
to
makes
it.
sense. Yeah, no shit. That was a stupid comment.
But yeah, a lot of the music though. Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't look really into it. It just that was just something that came to my mind. Like, oh shit, that might have been something that was up for a legal debate.
Yeah,
but I think like anything that was used in the past, you can't go after. You can't change it. Like, okay, you can say we can't use it now, but for anything that we've already put out there, that's already part of our history, you can't go back and change it. It's kind of like that same argument with the WWF logo. In old, remember when they were trying to just blur it out all the time?
Yep, I hated that.
WWF and the Worldwide Wildlife Fund, they came up with the agreement later in the lawsuit that, all right, from this point on, you can't use WWF as a logo, but anything from your past, you don't need to edit it out anymore because it's part
what
of
a
history.
bitch move. I mean, obviously, I don't know everything behind it, but what a bitch move by the World Wildlife Foundation.
Right.
Like, what? So bitchy.
Right. No one's confusing it. People know the difference.
No shit. What the fuck? It's not like WWF's fucking. If anything, it helps the World Wildlife Foundation more than it does
Right.
World Wrestling Federation. Because clearly they did fine when they changed it.
Yeah.
But I used to like that. I don't know. WWF. It's a fucking federation. It just sounds cool.
To think, it's probably been WWE longer than it was ever WWF.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Right, because WWF was only from, 2001 maybe? I don't know off the top of my head, but 2001 all dating back to maybe 1978 or something.
Yeah, we're close to 20
Yeah,
years.
it's almost the same amount of time. Yeah, strange how it's so common now, called WWE. Like I said before, once on another episode, and even to you, I've said in my notes it always tries to change WWF to WWE, like the spell check tries to change WWF on me. It's like, what the fuck? How's Google try to change that on me?
Yeah.
All right, so let me just wrap up. The Rock versus Al Snow. The Rock's going to he's going to give the corporate elbow to Head, which I thought was pretty damn funny. He's going to give it to Al Snow at first, then he just pushes Al Snow away. He gets Head, and then puts Head in the center of the ring and does a fucking corporate elbow to the Head, and then he wins the match. He does a rock bottom to Al Snow, wins the match, and that concludes what we got there for Raw 288. And there was just one little side note, and this is referring to the TV Guide. Austin and Undertaker are on the cover of TV Guide during this week, along with two other editions of TV Guide with Hulk Hogan and Bill Goldberg. So TV Guide's going after the explosion of professional wrestling on television. So they got two from WWF, two from WCW. So on WWF TV, they showed the Austin and Undertaker cover, which is perfect at the time, too, because they're feuding with each other. So that works out. But JR says, now these issues are going to be sold out quick, so make sure you go and get them, or you're going to end up with the recent retiree Hulk Hogan or the Stone Cold Steve Austin wannabe, Bill Goldberg. So you can tell that competition's hot at this point when they're actually acknowledging the other channel, acknowledging the competition. Which is kind of, I think at this point, Eric Bischoff had already started to say some of the results to the tape shows on Nitro, yep. So it's all fair game at this point to attack.
Yeah, he totally went low, like very low.
And I'll kick them in the ass after.
Yep.
All right, so this brings us now to Heat, episode 19 from December 6, 1998. We're going to start off with a very brief, Austin is very brief here, talking to Michael Cole. So take a listen.
Not scheduled to be on Heat tonight, so do you mind if I ask why you're here?
Yeah, I just want to sit on the front row and watch a few matches from a different perspective. Doesn't matter if I'm invited here or whatever. I'm part of the WWF, so I can do what I want. I did purchase this ticket, so I'll go out there, watch a few matches, eat some popcorn, and have a few cold beverages. So if you got a problem with that, let me know. Do you?
No, I
Then take your little microphone and get the hell out of here, son. I got things to do.
All right, so Michael Cole asked Austin a question you should never ask. Why are you here? What a dumbass. Ask that question. But Austin's pretty nice about it this time. He'd usually, do something, threaten Michael Cole in some way. But he says, I'm here just to watch the matches. Go sit in the front row and get another perspective. He says, I work here. I could be here. I got these tickets. I'm going to eat some popcorn, enjoy some cold ones. And then it shows Austin later getting cold ones from some fake-ass concession stand. It's like in a little room with like just a regular fold-up table, a little cooler, and some beers in it.
Definitely makeshift. Like someone put that together in a few minutes.
Right. There's no other people around. It's not like a concourse where people are walking around and buying T-shirts and shit. It's just one little room. So he gets his beer, and he heads out. But he doesn't really head out. He doesn't go out to the main event. So they're saying this all the way at the beginning of the show, but then he's not on Heat for the whole rest of the episode. So there you have it. He's not really going out to watch the matches other than the main event, which is going to be the Undertaker versus Mankind. Pretty cool main event for this episode of Heat. But corporation-wise, you're going to have The Rock, Shamrock, and Bossman go up against the Brood. DX is going to interfere. Okay, they're building up their feud with the corporation. And the New Age Outlaw is going to help DX. But then there's a stare down between DX and New Age Outlaws, and it's like, what side are they on? Who knows? So they're building up to the next episode of Raw to see what might happen with these guys. So in that main event, Undertaker versus Mankind, Austin does make his way down. He sits in the front row next to a little kid. The kid was probably shitting his pants, excited.
Yeah, so happy for sure.
And right at the start there, when Undertaker comes out, Austin and Undertaker stare each other down. Austin's going to toss beer in the Undertaker's face. And the thing that I thought was weird watching this was that this is coming off of the episode of Raw that we just covered where Undertaker is sent to the asylum and Paul Bearer's shoved down the sewer. And nothing is made of it. so they just make
that's a good
they
point.
just make their way out. It's like, all right, I guess, they're not in there anymore.
Did it happen if we don't talk about it?
Right. It's funny that it reminds me of the movie Old School. When I was thinking of like, all right, I guess they got out. But it reminds me of the movie Old School because there's a scene in the beginning, once the Luke Wilson, Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, they're in the house and they're gonna get kicked out by the dean. And I think his name's Dean Pritchett. And he said, you guys, you're going to get evicted, whatever. So Vince Vaughn's like, cheese. He's like, didn't you get thrown in a dumpster? He's like, yeah, I got out. So that
dude's such a dick. Dude.
So that's what this reminded me of. I was like, oh, well, they fucking got out. That's why they're out. They got out. Undertaker, weren't you in a crazy house? And Paul Bearer, weren't you in a sewer? Well, yeah, I got out. All right, so they're out basically, but no mention of it. So anyway, you got to build to the Buried Alive match. It's a week out at this point. The Rock's gonna face Mankind, so you have that combination. It's like the two opponents against the opposites, which is what they do all the way to this day. If so and so is gonna have a match with somebody, they'll face the other opponent of the other main event, or they'll tag team all together. You get all that shit. So The Rock's going to come out. He's going to get involved with Mankind. Austin's going to come out. He's going to get involved with The Undertaker. And all four of them are battling each other as the two major main events for the next pay-per-view. And, that's really what Heat is. It's just a build-up to Raws and pay-per-views. So that concludes episode 19 of Heat. And then just a quick mention here. Capital Carnage happened the same night on December 6, 1998. This is the first United Kingdom pay-per-view. It's on a Skybox Office. So that's their pay-per-view server that they had. And they never had a pay-per-view in the United Kingdom until this Capital Carnage. Or an exclusive pay-per-view, I should say. Because I'm sure they got WrestleMania and all that shit. But an exclusive United Kingdom only for them pay-per-view, and this was Capital Carnage. So this wouldn't have been available to people throughout the United States until much later when it came out on home video later in the year, or later in 99. And the main event is going to be a fatal four-way match. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Undertaker versus Kane versus Mankind. And Austin is going to win the match. It's a pretty cool match, pretty fun match. And we're actually going to cover it next week. So in lieu of our regular episode, being that it's 4th of July and, there's shit going on, I'm going away to Maine, and we're not going to have time to do our, our regular type of shit here. So we're going to do watch-along style. Makes it easier for us to do, basically. So we're going to do a watch-along of the main event for Capital Carnage and talk about Capital Carnage and, just go through the card, basically, and just run down what happened there. And then we're also going to do the main event for the match we've been building to, which we'll get into more detail in 2 weeks and cover the fallout of it. But that's the Buried Alive match that we're building to tonight, or in this episode. The Undertaker versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. So that's what's going on next week. Double watch-along next week on July 3rd. Okay, and again, that's in lieu of our regular episodes. So a break from regular episodes and special edition watch-along. So that'll be next week. So stay tuned for that. And let's move on now to Raw 289, December 7th, 1998. This is a taped episode from December 1st, 1998. This is happening in New Haven, Connecticut. This is the go-home show to Rock Bottom, the Rock Bottom pay-per-view, which is funny because throughout the segments, they keep referring to Rock Bottom as Buried Alive sometimes.
Yep, they definitely are. And from our coverage perspective, because we're covering Stone Cold, it feels like it's a Buried Alive pay-per-view more than it's it still feels like a Stone Cold
Right.
focused storyline, even though The Rock's the champ.
Right, and it's Rock Mankind, but there hasn't really been much build to Rock Mankind at all.
No, the story's been the Ministry and
Right.
Taker and all that. So
And all the corporation shit has basically been centered around DX, too.
yep, that's a good point.
All right, so let's get into it now. We got the Austin Undertaker storyline continuing here. They announced that there's going to be a tag team match as the main event. It's Stone Cold and Mankind versus Undertaker and The Rock, which is what I was just saying before. As they get closer to a main event or a double main event, they'll just put all those wrestlers in one tag team match with each other. And that's what they do here. So Stone Cold's going to tag team partner with his former tag team championship partner, Mankind, to go up against Undertaker and Rock. And later in the night, you see Stone Cold talking to Tony Garea, who's one of the agents in the back. And he's talking about how he doesn't get along with Mankind. So Mankind's starting to feel bad because he heard about it. And he's mad. He's talking to all the chairs. He's like flipping out in the boiler room, talking to the chairs. I know how many men have used you before. So he's just like wigging out back there. Even Vince McMahon is showing in the back. He's talking to Paul Bearer. Like, all right, this is how we're going to handle this situation. So we start to have a little collusion going on with Paul Bearer and Vince McMahon. And he's just trying to egg him on, like, oh, you know how it feels like to be shoved in the sewer, and what it was like for Undertaker to get hit with a shovel and go to the crazy house. And, you know, you need to do what's right for The Rock. You need to make sure that the Undertaker can work with The Rock in the main event. So he says, okay, he will. He'll be able to do that. So that leads us up now to the 47-minute mark in the episode, and this is an Austin promo. So let's take a listen to what Austin has to say here.
Buried alive match. That's all he can think about. It's consuming him. You can tell.
For the last few months here in the World Wrestling Federation, with the title or without, Vince McMahon has seen fit to throw everything that he can at Stone Cold Steve Austin, and somehow I've always managed to scrape by. That's all fine and well, but 6 days from now, at Rock Bottom, in a Buried Alive match, in my opinion, the stakes are stacked up higher than they've ever been for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Undertaker, you come out here, talk about sacrificing me, about wanting my soul. You hit me in the head with a shovel. You tried to bury me. You tried to embalm me. And none of that worked. I got something to say to you about that. In the ministry of Stone Cold Steve Austin at Rock Bottom, you can bet your ass that you can expect no mercy from Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's all I got to say about that.
Telling you, I got that feeling. Something bad is going to happen.
I'm starting to get that feeling too.
What is that? What is Austin looking at? Whoa!
What in the world? What the hell is that?
Austin, we've traveled down the highway to hell, and our journey has enlightened us on a few matters. One, you're helpless against my ministry, and the other is I can take your rotting soul anytime I wish. Tonight, our journey stops in your purgatory, where you will remain until Rock Bottom. And on that night, boy, I will sacrifice you to the ministry of darkness and let the entire world watch you get buried alive and burn in hell.
Look at that! That thing! That's the Undertaker symbol! On fire! Look at Stone Cold! Look at the look on Stone Cold's symbol on fire. The Undertaker sending a message. Stone Cold is helpless against the Ministry.
All right, so Austin points out what we all know. No matter what, Vince McMahon is always trying to stack the deck against him. Whether he's WWF champion or not, he's always trying to go after Austin. And Austin says the deck hasn't been stacked higher than ever before than at Buried Alive, which was another instance where they're messing up with, or Austin's messing up with what the name of the pay-per-view is. He says, I don't believe... No, he says, the Undertaker, you come out here, you're talking about sacrificing me, you want my soul, you hit me in the head with a damn shovel, you try to bury me, you try to embalm me, none of that worked. I have something to say about that. And we get to, in the ministry of Stone Cold Steve Austin, he says, so he's creating his own ministry here, in the ministry of Stone Cold Steve Austin at Rock Bottom, he gets it right this time, you can bet your ass you can expect no mercy from Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's all I have to say about that. And then we get the big reveal. You get the Undertaker's music hits at 48 minutes and 36 seconds. The Undertaker's symbol gets raised up, which is a symbol that he's used for years at this point, which is just a U and a T, crossing each other.
Great design.
I love that. And Undertaker says Austin is helpless against the Ministry. He's going to have a rotting soul. Or Undertaker could have his rotting soul whenever he wants it. Tonight our journey stops and your purgatory begins. You're going to remain in purgatory until rock bottom, where I will sacrifice you to the ministry of darkness, and you will be buried alive and you'll burn in hell. Then at that point, the symbol gets set ablaze, and it looks pretty damn awesome, lighting up like that. Just a nice moment to see Austin's face too, and he looks confused, like, shit.
Yeah, it's a great shot. They definitely nailed the shot there.
Well, that's halfway through.
It's good television. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin basically versus the fucking Supernatural at this point, which falls in line with the rest of TV in 1998. You really had to go over the top. People,
you got this superhero that's up against this super villain with these superpowers. Like he's been going through for a while with Kane and now the Undertaker. The Undertaker is starting to show his power.
And it really puts over the significance of this match. It's like, all right, what else is brewing now?
Right.
We get the debut of something we've never seen before. Like, what does it mean? All that good stuff.
So as the night continues on, they're building to that double, the tag team main event, rather. And Mankind's in the boiler room. He's talking to himself. He's pissed off about how Austin says, he's not my friend. He says, I'm not his friend. Well, we'll see about that, Austin. So Mankind is carrying a garbage bag. He goes into Austin's locker, leaves it there. He comes smiling out of the locker room minutes later. And there's a note there that says, Steve, have a cold one. I'm headed for the Rocky. Mankind. So Austin opens up this garbage bag that Mankind has left in his locker room, and there's a bottle of Coors Light. So Austin's like, hey. He opens it, he drinks it, and he starts to get his boots on for the match. So that brings us now to the main event match, and it's The Rock and The Undertaker versus Stone Cold and Mankind. And this starts at 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 28 seconds. So we start the match with Mankind coming out, but Austin doesn't make his way out. So he starts getting double teamed. Mankind starts getting double teamed to start the match, and then just maybe like 30 seconds to a minute later, Austin's music hits, makes the crowd go nuts, and he comes out. Now, one thing that I didn't mention before is that during this episode, it's Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler on commentary, but apparently there was the Bell's palsy incident with Jim Ross the night before in the United Kingdom. Yeah, they say something earlier in the night that there was a death in the family, which may be true also. That's why Jim Ross isn't there. But Jim Ross is there for the recording on December 1st, and you can see Jim Ross in the background at the commentary table, even though you hear Michael Cole throughout the episode. So they had to re-record all of the commentary for this episode because Jim Ross, maybe Jim Ross had the incident this night. Maybe it was that. But regardless, they redubbed it, and they put Michael Cole in, and you can see Jim Ross in the back every once in a while at the commentary booth. So just wanted to point that out. So
Yeah, another good catch by Mike Pruitt
Thank you.
here.
But yeah, I thought they did it.
Your attention to detail is nuts. Like, damn.
I thought they did a good job with the editing though, because they do a good job hiding him most of the night at commentary. But there's just a few spots here and there where it's almost impossible because they cut to the table. But even when they cut to the table, it's almost like they did cut even more of what the footage they had to block it off. So did a good job there. So tough times for JR at this point for sure, especially if he was going through both those terrible things of, I think it was his mother passing away and having the Bell's palsy incident in the same week. So
It's a tough guy,
Yeah.
JR. That's for damn sure.
So this is definitely a good go-home show match. We get all these people involved. The Rock's going to hit the corporate elbow on Mankind towards the end of the episode at 1 hour, 29 minutes. Mankind's going to kick out. Mankind goes for his double-arm DDT, but he gets hip-tossed, and The Rock follows that up with a makeshift rock bottom. Kind of looked like shit. And Austin breaks the count. Undertaker runs in. He battles with Austin. They both fall out of the ring. Team Corporate, Bossman and Shamrock come out. Bossman handcuffs Mankind to the corner top rope, and The Rock's going to beat him down with the nightstick. And Austin and Undertaker continue to battle out ringside and into the audience. Austin clotheslines him back into the ringside area, and he's going to start to choke out the Undertaker with the cables, which has been very common lately to do that. And Undertaker gets a hold of the ring bell, and he whacks Austin, and it even makes the sound of the bell, like ding. And my first thought was like, "There's no way that happens." So because it's a tape show, they definitely added the sound of the bell just to make it more impactful for the episode.
Yeah, not good editing.
Yeah, in that case, that was pretty shitty. Not gonna fool me on that. So Taker follows that up with a chair shot onto the commentator's table, and this is when you can kind of get a glimpse of JR again, who's there but not talking. Michael Cole's supposed to be there. Undertaker puts Austin on his shoulders, carries him off. So now he's walking up the ramp. Okay, Lola makes a good point at this point, saying that Austin is feeling the effects of the shovel shot concussion from a couple weeks ago. So it kind of explains why Austin might be easily woozy, because he's still coming up from that concussion. And then we get the Druids coming out. And I always love when the Druids come out for the Undertaker.
Yeah, because shit's about to go down.
Whether it's bringing the casket out, or, it's just something cool is gonna happen. So the Druids come out. They're walking down the ramp as the Undertaker brings Austin up, and this religious music is playing, or what seems like religious music. Whatever, it's religious music.
Yeah, it's religious inspired,
Right.
At least religion inspired. This whole fucking
of course it is. So they strap Austin to it like he's Jesus, basically going on a crucifix. But it's not a crucifix. It's a symbol. It's a symbol. And they made sure that Michael Cole said that like a million times. It's a symbol. It's a symbol. That's the Undertaker symbol. Which it is. It is a damn symbol.
Yeah, it is. But I
totally
get why they're going to reiterate that, because people that are passionate about religion are very passionate.
Yeah.
So if they don't like it, they'll let you know.
Yeah. So Paul Bearer's going to tell the Druids to tie him up. Undertaker calls for Austin to be lifted. Austin says he'll kick his ass. Austin is being raised. Austin continues to talk shit as he's being raised. So that's a good thing here, where it's not totally like crucifixion of Jesus, because Austin is still talking back, and he's not like he's hurt or dying or anything. He's just like, "What the fuck's going on? Fuck you, man. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna kick your ass when I get down from here."
He is. He's talking shit to the Druids the whole time.
So the show's going to close basically at this point, but you have Austin, I've taken you, your mind, your body, your soul, and the only thing left is to bury you alive. So that's how they close to go to the pay-per-view, Rock Bottom, the next week. So the show closes, obviously, like we've just been saying, it has religious undertones, Christian undertones. It's a different time, for TV. I mean, it's controversial even back then, you could say. But, just, you got to keep in mind, this is a character. We've said this numerous times, that these aren't real people, these are actors. And
the problem was convincing the people that didn't watch this
Right.
shit that it was.
Right, because
I don't know. It's like people that don't watch wrestling just think like they think people that watch it think it's real, so they try to like correct them. Like, hey, right?
Don't be fooled by
That's,
this.
that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. like they can't. They don't comprehend the fact that people could just enjoy that form of entertainment. Yeah. It's fucking weird.
Hey, there's no such thing as Bruce Wayne, right? There's no Batman.
Yeah.
No shit, motherfucker.
Yeah. Really? There's no Gotham either?
All right, so anyway, take what you want from it. It's the Undertaker. I mean, he is a religious character. I had to say this basically though, is that the Undertaker is religious. He's always been a religious character because he's the fucking Undertaker. Undertaker puts people away into the coffins, into the ground for a religious purpose. People get burials go all the way back to the beginning of religion.
He's the nail in the coffin.
If there was no such thing as a religion, we wouldn't be burying each other into the ground.
I know.
So
probably wouldn't waste good real
estate. He's always been that religious type of character in nature. So there you have it. Don't get all worked up about it. It's wrestling. It's fucking wrestling.
Yeah, and I'd imagine that our listeners
of course.
They listen to a fucking wrestling podcast, and you got to be pretty hardcore to go and listen to our podcast because this is deep shit.
Deep dive. All right, so that concludes the Austin Undertaker storyline. So let's just run through basically what happens with the corporation and DX. They got their things going on, so this is actually going to open this episode of Raw. So DX opening up Raw, Triple H, China, X-Pac all together again. But what's going on with the New Age Outlaws? Triple H wants answers. The New Age Outlaws come out. They're dressed in suits. They're all dressed up nice. They got water bottles, little tiny water bottles that they're drinking with a pinky up. And they do their whole little entrance. But they change it up a little bit. They say, probably introduced to you by Vincent Kennedy McMahon, the tag team champions of the world, the new Corporate Outlaws. So now they got their new name. And I just have to say, because of how much of a 12-year-old I am, there's nice tits in the first row. And she has glow sticks.
I saw it in the notes, so I made sure to keep an eye out for it.
And the cameraman goes back to her numerous times.
Of course.
And she has a New Age Outlaws shirt on, a homemade t-shirt. That's what she's wearing.
Yep. So it's fucking perfect for the cameraman to have to.
So, she's all excited for the New Age Outlaws at first. And they're showing her, and she's all jumping up and down, bouncing around. And then when they announce that they're the new Corporate Outlaws, she has the letters, I don't know, I guess they're just pressed on, ironed on letters. And she starts ripping them off her shirt because she's pissed. But anyway, that stood out to me. Of course it did, because I'm 12. So what you have there is HBK gets introduced now. He comes out, and now it looks like you have a corporate DX, and then you have the regular DX head-to-head with each other. So HBK goes out there. He says that everybody rode his coattails for years. Triple H says that he owes him nothing. HBK said, I turned you into somebody when you were an absolute nobody, which I would agree with. For sure. Fucking Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So, he's lucky he just started to become friends with HBK, Razor, and Diesel.
Yeah,
You're lucky to get into the right crowd.
Yeah, I wouldn't say lucky because he obviously hit it off with them and stuff. So
it's funny though how it starts off with him is that he becomes their designated driver because he doesn't drink. He's like, all right, you guys can drink and do drugs, whatever, and I'll drive.
Yeah, I mean, and he earns it. He really earns their trust. He earns his way in.
Yeah. He definitely earns his spot. But it's nice to bring that up, though.
Yeah, it is. You were the driver.
You fucking driver. You're just trying to get in with the top guys. And it worked. Now he's the top guy.
Yep.
All right, so Triple H comes back with the, I carried your dead ass around when you had a belt that you should not have been carrying. Which, I guess you could argue that after Survivor Series 97 when he won it from the Screwjob, He held on to it until Austin. Like, who else, though? Should Austin had it at that point? No, not yet. Oh. Anyway, so they're going back and forth, and Triple H tells him to suck it. HBK says, well, yeah, you guys are going to suck it because you have a match against Team Corporate. So it's going to be Triple H and X-Pac versus Team Corporate. And that match is going to go on a little later in the night. So let's get to that. Triple H is back in action for the first time in a while at this point. He looks pretty good. Looks in good shape.
Yeah.
And he's doing all right. I think at this point, they're kind of setting up him to be the next top mid-card, the upper mid-card. You know, like where The Rock just was. So he like replaced The Rock.
Yeah, he's moved up a tier.
Yeah,
that's for
he's
sure.
like on the next level, just below Austin and The Rock. And I put Undertaker and Mankind in like their own separate thing where they just go wherever they want. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to be like the ones that are the top faces of the company, but they can be used in main events or mid-card whenever. Those kind of guys.
Yep, they're always relevant. Yeah, and
that's great for Mankind, is to be that kind of character.
Yeah, the flexibility of being able to stay interesting regardless of
where he's on the card.
You are on the card. Yeah, like you make it interesting because you're a legend.
All right, so the corporation is missing at this point in the match, and Michael Cole even mentions that, and that's basically a cue for them to come out. So New Age Outlaws or the Corporate Outlaws come out with HBK. You get a decent match going on, and HBK is going to come out. He's going to cause X-Pac to fall out of the ring by pulling the rope down, and HBK is going to throw Shamrock a chair. Billy Gunn runs in and grabs the chair from Shamrock and says, I'll do it. Then Billy Gunn, of course, is going to nail Shamrock, and you get a swerve. So you get another one of these classic swerves, which they've only been building up for like 2 weeks, but here it is. The New Age Outlaws, we're never going to join the corporation. Screw the corporation. They're part of DX. And we got 2 words for Vince McMahon. Suck it. So now you got all of DX standing together again, and Shawn Michaels is flipping out at ringside like, what the hell? You know? But if you're paying close attention, it's like the storyline with the Deadly Game. HBK hasn't really done anything to hurt DX yet, other than just put them in some matches and the chair shot the X-Pac, but that'd be like the same situation where McMahon got rock bottomed by The Rock, where we did it just to fuck with the corporation. We did it. That was like one for the team. X-Pac took one for the team.
Yep.
So building to that. So just keep your eyes on what HBK is actually doing. That's what I'm doing anyway, to see if there's any screw-ups with the storyline to come. At this point, they've been doing a good job with it. And some just basic side notes for this episode before we get into our final breakdown of what else is going on in the Attitude Era. And you have an Attitude Cologne commercial. And I don't know if you caught this one, but it's like a fucking, like a beatnik type commercial. 2 guys, Adam and Dave, is that their names? Yeah, Adam and Dave. It's like they're the super fans that have been around, the redhead guy and the curly-haired, dark-haired guy. Yeah.
Yeah. One of them has a blue T-shirt on. I did watch this. But I wouldn't call it, what did you call it?
No, you must have seen a different one, because this is the one where they're playing like hipster-type beatnik music. Like, hey, Daddy-O, what's going on? Do you smell The Rock
that is the one. Yeah. It's awkward. It's very cringe to watch.
I thought it was pretty funny. It reminds me of a scene from So I Married an Axe Murderer, when Mike Myers. You remember that movie?
Yeah,
and he's at like a club. He's doing poetry. He's like, Harriet, sweet Harriet, and he's like banging a little drum and shit. But anyway, that's what it reminded me of. So I Married an Axe Murderer, which came out not too long before that. But yeah, anyway, so. The reason why I bring them up, though, is because they are both actually important people in TV production, where even Adam to this day works as the guy that does the video packages for like all the pay-per-views and the build-up to matches and shit, which are some of the best things that WWF or WWE does today, is to still hype up the matches and make them look good in a video package. So, for instance, if you didn't watch Raw for like a month, and you go to watch the pay-per-view, if you watch the pre-match package, you might think, oh shit, this might be good. You might be disappointed after, but the package might make you think that you're in for something good. So that's what he does to this day. Another side note was you had Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was in an article for the Rolling Stone, and this was one of the first interviews where he actually talked about his background with WCW, ECW, where his name for Stone Cold Steve Austin came from. You know, all the stuff that we talked about back in episode 1, 2, and 3 of the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. A lot of it originally came from his story in the Rolling Stone from December of 1998.
Rolling Stone meant something.
Yeah, no shit. Now it's nothing.
TV guides and Rolling Stones. What a fucking...
Now everything's just like a shitty internet page. It's crap. All right, so that wraps things up pretty much. Now, was there anything else before we get into the Attitude Era update and what's going on, like side note wise, with other storylines?
No, I'll just kind of
jump in on some of these Attitude Era things.
Yeah, I'll jump in when we're covering an episode and I see something that I want to bring up.
All right, so we'll do an update now, starting with the Blue Blazer storyline. All right, so I'm back on Heat 18 on November 29th. The Blue Blazer is going to come out from under the ring. He's going to get caught under the ring, and Blackman gets counted out. Looks like it's Owen Hart this time. So we have this storyline going on where who's the Blue Blazer? We know it's supposed to be Owen Hart because that's what he was back in 1988, 1989 when he first made his debut in WWF. But we're not sure who he is because sometimes it's not. Sometimes Owen Hart's there, sometimes he's not. And that saga is continuing on. So ultimately what happens is Owen Hart's going to announce that he's going to come out of retirement. He's going to challenge Steve Blackman to a match at Rock Bottom. He says, there's a little bit of the Blue Blazer in each and every one of us. So then on the next episode, on Raw 289, the Blue Blazer runs out one more time and trips down the ramp. So one thing I started to notice is that when it's not Owen Hart as the Blue Blazer, this Blue Blazer is goofy and gets caught under the ring. He trips down the ramp, or he gets caught hanging from the wire. So that's like the giveaway that, oh, that's not the Owen Hart one. That's the imposter one. It's always screwing up. Yeah. So I thought that was a nice little touch to the storyline. I'm sure things will come to a head at Rock Bottom. We'll get a reveal who this other clown Blue Blazer is. I think we have an idea of who it is already. All right, Mark Henry. The Mark Henry in China story is probably one of the funnier side stories going on during these past couple weeks, where Mark Henry is going to ask China for a date. He's going to get his date. X-Pac's not very happy with the date, and when X-Pac's about to mention to Mark Henry that, you know, you need to be careful and, you know, you better treat her right or whatever, giving like the Big Brother speech, there's a sign for the first time, sexual chocolate, in the audience. I was like, ah, shit, this little kid fucking, not a little kid, he's like a teenager. I was like, he nailed it. He got it from the start. Yep.
He called it.
And then they went with it. So then we get this date on Raw 288, November 30th. And I just thought it was funny. And this was another story that played out throughout the entire episode. And you have Mark Henry. He asked D'Lo to go on the date with him. D'Lo says, all right, I will. All right, I'll do it. So Mark Henry's like, all right, I got this for you. He gives him a suit jacket. And D'Lo's like, all right, cool. This looks good. And then he gives him sunglasses. Mark Henry gives him sunglasses. Like, all right, I look good. And I was thinking at first, like, shit, is D'Lo going to steal China? And that's going to, like, piss them off? But just seconds later, Mark Henry hands him the chauffeur's hat. Yep, there you go. D'Lo's like, what the fuck, man? Basically.
Mark Henry's a natural.
He is.
He's a natural at the entertainment stuff. He's fucking...
He's hilarious.
He's funny.
And the fact that I'm just impressed that he could even memorize the poems that he recites each week. Like, damn. He memorized all these poems, and yeah, he's pretty damn funny. Pretty solid. Right from the start here. So he goes on a date, and China gets in a limo. She's annoyed at first, of course. She starts to loosen up later in the night when they're dancing. Mark Henry's being like goofy dancing, so she starts to smile about that a little bit. Mark Henry's starting to feel it. He's like, all right, I'll be back with some drinks. And then you get this fucking like frat boy type guy, probably an enhancement wrestler or just like a local independent wrestler.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
people that could take bumps, basically. So it was like three guys that looked like they probably were wrestlers, and he comes up to her, and I thought it was funny because so many people back in high school said this. Do I make you horny, baby? From Austin Powers. And this is right around that time.
Yeah.
So you go up to the girl, oh, do I make you horny, baby? And she's like, get out of here. He's like, I'm talking to you, bitch. Then China whacks him, knocks him down. And then then a brawl breaks out. Mark Henry comes to her aid, and China's going to be impressed with that, I'm sure. And then the next night, or the next week rather, in 289, it's a match between Mark Henry and Draws. China's going to come out, and Draws is like trying to hit on China, but then China whacks Draws, and Mark Henry then power slams Draws and gets the win. But Mark Henry's so happy that China came out and helped, so he's like all giddy like a little kid, like, "Oh yeah, you helped me." So I thought that was a pretty funny storyline going on at that time. But I mean, there's more. There's a couple other storylines. There's the Val Venus and Godfather storyline. There's Jeff Jarrett, Deborah Goldust. And then you got the Job Squad, of course. And I mentioned that already with the Job Squad. Basically, what you got with the Job Squad is Dwayne Gill keeps winning. And that's all there is really to that. The Shane and Sable thing is going on now, where Shane is basically saying, Sable, you haven't done shit. You haven't earned your spot here. My father gave you everything. So they have a little back and forth going on for the past couple of weeks. Now, the Val Venus and Godfather one, there are some pretty funny spots with that. I think the most notable thing that I took away from this storyline is that on Raw 289, you have the Godfather come out, and they're in Connecticut. And the Godfather comes out with, in my opinion, some ugly ass hoes this time. And the Godfather's going to offer the hose to anybody in the audience. So then you get this Hobbit-looking guy come out of the audience. He's got a fucking mullet. He looked like a Ron Jeremy knockoff. He's wearing a Buffalo Bills jersey, but it has no numbers, no nothing, other than the 75th anniversary NFL patch.
This guy's a character. This dude is a character. He looks...
He has his jersey tucked into his jeans.
He looks funny.
His name is Bob. He gets the hose for free. I mean, there's nothing really to it more than that. I just go back and watch that scene. It's just pretty funny. He looks like he should be on the Howard Stern show. Like he's a Whack Pack member.
Or a Job Squad member.
Yeah, that's probably apt too. Yeah, I guess the only thing, since we only have one left, might as well fucking say it. It's Jeff Jarrett, Deborah Goldust angle going on, and basically they're going to set up a match between Jarrett and Goldust, where if Goldust loses, he's got to strip, and he announces that, and everyone's like, "Well, why the hell would we want to see that?" Yeah.
Now,
so he says, "Well, if I win, then little Debbie has to show off her tasty cakes." Like,
so creepy. He called
tasty cakes, and then he's like licking his lips, and so Goldust is back to being this creepy Goldust, but cool Goldust. Goldust is always cool. And then he comes out with the trench coat later. Then Deborah comes out with a trench coat, and they're doing like this flashing thing back and forth, and that's what's going on with them. So that'll all come to a head at Rock Bottom, which is what we'll cover in a couple of weeks. So let's just wrap things up here. The bottom line wrap up. We got one house show. So the house show rundown is not really a rundown, it's just one show. And that's November 29th, 1998. And it's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's the same night that they did the live heat. And the crowd got Austin defeating The Rock, Undertaker, and Kane in a non-title match. And Big Boss Man was the special ref. So Stone Cold won that one. So the crowd must have loved that. Oh, hell yeah moment of the week, JV. What do you got?
Mine's is actually the extra attitude segment from Raw 288 between Austin and
that was
Rock.
fucking awesome. Yeah, I didn't spend
I thought that was just
Yeah, you definitely got to go back and watch that. I didn't spend a whole lot of time going over it because it is long. It's like 12 minutes. But yeah, that's definitely something to go back and watch.
And I know there's him going up on the craw, the symbol, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and all that happened. But that extra attitude segment was just gold. How the Rock acts, like how tired he's acting in the ring, and Austin picking up Shane and stunning him again, and Shane sells the stunners perfectly. It's just a fucking great segment. That's the shit that people really like wrestling for. when you get stuff like
that. That was awesome. That's a good one. I'm gonna go with one that I thought you were gonna go for, so I'm gonna take it now. It's very brief, but it was an oh hell yeah type moment. It's Headbangers and ICP come out to open up Raw. And Stone Cold says, that's not happening. And he goes out and stuns the shit out of them, and then calls out the Undertaker and says he's going after the Undertaker tonight. So that's my oh hell yeah. What do you got for oh hell no?
For all hell no, just because of the discussion we had today, I changed it on this episode. Is Stone Cold getting locked in the freezer? Just lame.
My oh hell no then. My oh hell no goes back to what I thought should have happened last week. Actually, no, because that sucks too. Man, oh hell knows.
There wasn't a lot of bad. There really wasn't a lot of bad in this on these episodes.
I think I'll have to go from
Heat 18, 19,
yeah,
289 and Real 288.
I think I'll have to go for the very quick turn of New Age Outlaws pretending like they're corporate for a week for no reason, and then just to be DX anyway. So,
yep,
yeah, that was all hell no. That's just shitty. That was a waste, basically.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there because they didn't drag it out.
No, it should have dragged over until like the pay-per-view, and then they would have maybe joined back with them at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Right.
Should have been more significant.
Because there was no stakes. It was just like, oh, are you with us or not? Okay, well, if anything, they should have had them be in the match against each other.
Yeah, they should have. They could have done better with that.
So yeah.
Maybe it was a last minute decision just to scrap it.
Right.
Like, you know what? We're not going to go this route.
What it was.
But my original hell no was actually I think it's Dwayne Gale.
Twice.
Retains the fucking light heavyweight champ. I forgot how prominent that
for a
guy
while.
was like then. Like obviously I always remember him as Gilbert, but then I forgot. I'm like, oh yeah, he was like fucking.
He's gonna go on a streak too. That's the whole thing.
Fuck. But with the freezer thing, it just brought back bad memories from. It was more good memories than bad memories.
Working at New England Poultry.
Damn sure, but yeah, having to go to the back of the freezer like that always sucked. Just go to the freezer in general, unless it was like the middle of July. Ugh, that sucked. And sometimes it was good to get away from everybody.
All the chicken juice. That's the coolest.
Oh, no, the coolers.
Oh, that too.
Cleaning the
Yeah.
The big refrigerators.
All right, so next week on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, like I said mid-show, is that we're going to do a special edition watch-along for July 3rd episode, so that's like our 4th of July episode. So it's going to be special, but...
Love the watch-alongs.
Yeah, me too. I love the watch-alongs. But, you know, it's a day for celebration in the United States, but we're going to cover the first UK pay-per-view, Capital Carnage. Our mother country, the United Kingdom. So we'll cover that main event, the Fatal 4-Way, and we'll also cover the Buried Alive match from the Rock Bottom pay-per-view. And then following that week, on July 10th, we'll get back to covering Rock Bottom pay-per-view. We'll do the Raws to close out the year. There are a couple episodes where Austin is not really prevalent at all, so we're going to try to just get through those and wrap up the year on the July 10th episode. So that'll be Raw 290 through 292, along with the Rock Bottom pay-per-view. So that'll be in 2 weeks. All right, now let's get to a couple of friends of the podcast, and that's Talking Taker with Alex Dario and Travis, and they cover the career of The Undertaker, much like we do here on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. So take a listen to what Alex Dario has to say about his podcast, and then definitely take a listen to Talking Taker.
Oh, hell yeah. What's up, Stone Cold fans? This is Alex Dorio, one of the hosts of Talking Taker. And along with my co-host and fellow creature of the night, Travis White, we are digging up the career of the dead man, one pay-per-view match at a time, on a podcast journey that's a lot like what you're listening to right now on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. So if you're enjoying what Mike and JV are doing here, going through the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, come check us out as we explore The Undertaker's 3 decades of destruction. We're right in the midst of the Biker Taker era right now, so you can jump right in or start over from the beginning and hear us discuss The Undertaker's side of the story, from his many battles with the Rattlesnake, The Rock, Mankind, and more. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify, and more. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Talking Taker. Thanks to Mike and JV for letting us plug the show, and take her easy. What? I said, take her easy.
Also want to give a shout out to Mike Mills and his boys, Hardbody Hopper and Doc Turner at Booking the Territory, the unprofessional wrestling podcast, where they cover old school wrestling, NWA World Championship Wrestling from Saturday nights. They cover those on Thursdays, and currently they are in 1988, and this week they'll be covering February 27th, 1988. And on Sunday nights, they drop a Smoky Mountain Wrestling recap, and they are currently at episode 149, which is December 3rd of 1994. So definitely take a listen to those guys on Booking the Territory, the unprofessional wrestling podcast. Also, coming out, not today, no, we're not dropping a new one this week, but next week, and we've dropped 3 episodes already of the Extreme ECW Livecast, which is on the Booking the Territory Patreon feed. So at patreon.com, you go search, you go Booking the Territory, and you'll get their page and sign up for the $5 tier, and you'll get episodes of the Extreme ECW Livecast, JV and I talking about old school ECW from 1993. So take a listen to that. If you like listening to us here on the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, it's definitely worth a try to listen to us for even a month. If you sign up for a month, you can listen to the last few episodes. So it's worth it, and there's a bunch of other shit on the Booking Territory Patreon feed that you'll definitely enjoy if you like old school wrestling. So give it a shot. Check that out.
Hey, before you leave, hey!
All right. Also, if you want to be in contact with us, we're available on Twitter.
What?
At MPRU83, that's where you can find me. Find JV at John Van Damage, and our show page at Bottom Line Cast.
What?
Tell your friends about us. We're available on numerous podcast platforms like iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play, Radio Public, just basically anything. So just tell your friends about us. It's the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. If you just type our name into Google, it's going to show you all the different places that you can find us. So that's how big of a name we are at this point now. The Bottom Line Wrestling Cast.
Yeah, the wonders of search engine optimization.
So just spread the word. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star review. And that can definitely help us out with getting our movement on iTunes. All right, guys. So I know I say it every week, and we made a joke of it last week. But JV, you got any final words?
No final
All right,
words
guys.
from me today.
Enjoy your 4th of July. We'll be back next week on 4th of July, but it'll be a watch-along episode, so I just wanted to say that here now. But, enjoy your week, and we'll be back the day before 4th of July, right before you're about to get nice and sauced and celebrate this country of America. And for those of you that don't live in America, well, you're not celebrating the 4th of July, so just have a damn good week. I'm Mike Prue, along with JV. See you next week. So long.